5G C-band is not kosher with airports. EMF expert Elizabeth Kelly is with us today discussing effects of 5G, sharing her resources and knowledge. So get your questions and radiation and electromagnetic field questions answered. All that and more next on The Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to The Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for up-to-date scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 79. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m. We post all of our shows and bonus content on computerdoctorshow.com. Again, computerdoctorshow.com. We would love to hear from you, so give us a call during the show with your computer, internet, cybersecurity comments and questions on our open studio line, 520-790-2040. Co-hosting today is Rob from the Cassidy Unscrewed Theater.
Good afternoon. Good to be here again, Aaron.
And we actually do have a special guest today, but before we introduce that special guest today, I just want to show some love to our expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works near Speedway in Craycroft. They have a free 26-point inspection. Come on by. You might see me there. Give them a call for an appointment, 520-323-8650. Again, 520-323-8650. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the executive producer of the EMF Medical Conference, the director of International EMF Science Appeal, and executive director of Electromagnetic Safety Alliance, Miss Elizabeth Kelly. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Aaron. How are you?
Great. I'm so happy that you decided to be on the show again. It was a great show. You were on 2 episodes last year, and here you are again. I just want to thank you ahead of time for being here. And did I leave anything out as far as your credentials go?
I think that's about enough. If people want more information, they can go to emfsafetyalliance.org and contact me through that website.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, Elizabeth Kelly is I would say she's my authority for answering electromagnetic type questions, signaling type questions, and it's effect on society, effect on people. And one of the recent headlines why we wanted to have her on the show soon, or at least this month, was because C-band 5G and its effect on altimeters on airplanes. The Federal Aviation Administration is still under reconsideration of this technology to be installed into airports. And it kind of re-stirred up some of these emotions that people may have about 4G, 5G, its effect on people. And so hopefully you can shed some light on that. So can you first tell us, Elizabeth, what is C-band 5G?
Yes, I'd be glad to. The C-band is one of the classifications of the band that the IEEE put on the spectrum. They broke the spectrum down into bands, and the C-band runs from 4G to 8G, 4 gigahertz to 8 gigahertz on the electromagnetic spectrum. And it's been used by satellites and it's close to a frequency used by, well, it also includes frequencies that are currently used by the aviation industry. And it's been, very low-key, no problems, but now we have a major signal interference problem. And it does have health implications, and it is posing a risk to aviation safety. So let me tell you a little more what I mean here. The 5G C-band, it is heralded as a global frequency that will supercharge the Internet. It's going to offer more bandwidth, more system capability, and higher speeds.
That sounds good.
But not as high as the millimeter band.
That's right. I mean, everybody that is for speed, this is going to bring it in spades. And it is in the mid-band of the electromagnetic spectrum. 5G actually occupies low band, mid-band, and high band. So by introducing this, it's right in the sweet spot of getting faster speed and low latency. But It'll also support autonomous vehicles, telemedicine, and robotic surgery. Whereas 3G was a 2-lane highway, 4G is a 6-lane highway, but 5G occupies 12 lanes. And it will use strong energy bursts to beam signals directly to people who own a 5G-capable cell phone in seconds rather than minutes. Mm-hmm. And many cities across the country now have this service available, but not by the airports because of the FAA. So what happened is, 2 years ago, the FCC decided to auction off that band, and frequencies were purchased by AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon then. They purchased 3.7 to 3.98 gigahertz. And they paid $81 billion to access that bandwidth for new 5G applications. And this band is also right close to the 4.2 to 4.4 gigahertz frequencies that are used by the aviation industry for guidance via altimeters that are in the craft that read the distance between the plane and the ground. And it's really important, especially when there's low visibility or a plane is going over the mountains. It's like a sounder. It tells the plane where it is, especially when they need instrument.
I don't want to be in a plane that doesn't have a functioning altimeter. But actually, Rob, you had a question about the VHF and UHF.
Yes, I was just curious. I can't remember all my frequency allocation tables from the FCC. Are these the frequencies that were formerly used by UHF and VHF transmissions that were then auctioned off for cell phone use, or is that a different band?
That's a different band. This was used in the past by some satellites.
Okay.
So it's they've been auctioning off frequencies to the wireless carriers for years now. No, this is not that UHF VHF part of the spectrum.
Oh, okay. So that's a roundabout answer about what C-band 5G is. It's a section of spectrum in the signaling space, if you will. So what information do we have on C-band 5G or 5G in general, as far as it perhaps being dangerous or causing any type of difficulties for humans? What do you have for us about that?
Oh, sure. Yes, Rob. Well, that's what I've been working on. The fact that the FAA and the FCC are in a battle, federal agency to federal agency, over this part of the spectrum is important, and there are health concerns because, it would be dangerous to fly on a plane right now if those 5G signals are operating near airports. But in general, 3G, 4G, and 5G all are known to have serious biological effects on man and nature. And this is not a new subject. I've been working on this issue for 26 years. And we have been following the science all this time. I work with the scientists, and they are the independent and impartial scientists, I should say, who don't have a stake in the game. They are curious people. They do research. And they've been reporting biological effects that do not involve heat far below the FCC human exposure guidelines as well as international guidelines. So this is an ongoing problem. When 5G was introduced by the FCC, with the power of the FCC behind it, they never did a prior safety study to see whether or not this technology was safe for people. And they completely ignored nature because their guidelines don't even govern nature.
What kind of, you mentioned biological effects, so what are some of these, can you give us some examples of what some of these biological effects have been? Yes.
There are biological effects that have been found repeatedly. Over 100 papers have now been published on oxidative stress as a biological effect. Now, the body can recover from a biological effect, but if they don't recover, if their immune system is weak, for example, or they're older, or they already have pre-existing conditions, they can develop a serious illness, which can even result in death. So oxidative stress is a key biological marker or mechanism that shows that radio frequency radiation can be very harmful. DNA damage is another biological effect. There again, DNA can correct itself. Cancerous tumors can disappear. But a study reported in 2018 by the U.S. National Toxicology Program showed clear evidence of cancers among animals. Prior to that, and it was a long-term study. That's important because the FCC guidelines only apply to use of a cell phone for 6 minutes and to exposure to an antenna for 30 minutes. These are acute exposure conditions. They do not address the fact we are now all living chronically exposed to multiple signals all the time, wherever we are.
Well, this is certainly a very, very interesting discussion. We're going to take a quick commercial break here with our continued discussion from our electromagnetic expert, Elizabeth Kelly. And we'll take some of your questions, too, if you call us. This is the Computer Doctor Show.
You know, Roger, you have the coolest car.
I know, but it's even cooler because you're in it next to me.
The lights of this city and this beautiful night, I just don't want it to end.
I have something for you that will make it last forever.
Oh, Roger, a ring? I've never seen anything so beautiful.
Will you marry me?
Yes, of course I'll marry you.
Ma'am, your car's ready.
Oh, I must have fallen asleep.
That Chevy Coupe is a real treasure.
That song.
What's the matter?
Thanks so much for preserving not only the car, but so many memories.
At Perfection Auto Works, we're not just about repairing cars, but preserving wonderful memories. Start your new auto and truck repairs off right with our free 26-point inspection. Call today, 323-8650 and perfectionautoworks.com.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along here with Rob, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. This is a special episode, and we have Elizabeth Kelly with us today. We're going to be continuing our conversation in just a moment about this C-band 5G that is that a lot of people are interested in. But before we get into that segment, Rob, what can you tell us about the Unscrewed Theater?
Well, Unscrewed, thank you, Aaron. Unscrewed Theater is an improv comedy theater here in Tucson. And with the Omicron surge, we have been doing online shows the last few weeks, although we're going to reopen for live audiences very soon, so keep an eye out for that. You can go to our website, unscrewedtheater.org, and find out about all our shows. We actually have 3 shows tonight to tell you about our diversity of programming. At 6 o'clock, we have Comic Chaos, doing long-form comic book style improv, a very family and kid-friendly show in particular. We have a family-friendly improv show at 7:30, and our uncensored show featuring Not Burnt Out, Just Unscrewed, and another team called the Big Daddies at 9 o'clock. So we try to have something for everyone. Watch our website, unscrewedtheater.org, and we'll be opening our doors to live audiences again real soon, probably later this month. So we'd love to have you back in there and see us live.
All right. Thank you so much for keeping us entertained and safe, Unscrewed Theater. Okay, back to our discussion here with our EMF expert. Elizabeth Kelly is on the phone with us today answering some of these very difficult questions that honestly you probably can't find good answers to. We were talking about the biological effects of stress. You had mentioned stress and DNA damage. And I think we may have a question on line 2. We have Kay that's on the phone with us. She has a question for our expert. Are you there?
Yes, I am. My question is, I'm wondering about, as humans are more exposed to these energies, if actually we will adapt and evolve. For example, I've heard that there are some elephants now that are being born without tusks, I guess because of all the poaching for tusks. They have evolved and adapted to that. And I wondered if there's any sense that we as humans will adapt to 5G and other energies?
Evolving. Evolving takes a long time. What do you think, Elizabeth?
Yeah, well, right. That's a very profound question, Kay. And my answer is we don't know. The evidence now points to the fact that within a few years there will be so many people that are mentally disabled because of these exposure conditions that we're concerned about survival, that we will have healthy people that can have children. Our fertility rates are falling. There's ties now known, studies pointing to loss of sperm mobility, lower sperm count, and this is one of the contributing factors. So if we evolve, I don't know what we're going to look at, but definitely what is happening is that these artificial signals are disrupting our normal functioning and causing a breakdown or imbalance in what we know as homeostasis. So those people or generations of people that survive because they're tougher. And there are people that don't feel this and love it, and that's great, but 4 to 10% of the people are very ill because of this. We'll see.
Wow, what an answer. And thank you very much, Kay, for that question. If you have any other questions while we still have time in the show, you can go ahead and give us a call at the station. Now, the other question is that we had talked about just a little bit during the break. Will this affect, like if you have a 5G phone or one that is operating on a C-band, does it have an effect if you hold the phone up to your face when you're perhaps on a phone call, or versus even just having it on your person versus having it like in an earpiece that's connected to your phone that's perhaps maybe on your hip? Any comment on that?
Yeah, consider this image. A 5G capable phone is going to come loaded with more antennas. And the 5G cell towers, they're erected now. We don't know how many of them are broadcasting 5G. They're mostly still broadcasting 4G. But for 5G, they have multiple batteries for transmitting at very high energy signals within seconds. Like, for example, if you're on your 5G phone and you want to watch a video, you'll get it instantaneously. So that very powerful burst, it probably exceeds the FCC guidelines, is going to create a big radiation bubble around you, much bigger than the 4G phone. And so it's not just a matter of where it is near your body. It will be affecting you and those around you. And so, where you put it is basically turned off and on a charger. And use a landline phone if you're going to talk at any length. I know it's exciting to stream all this, but just consider the radiation patterns that are coming at your phone. And if you've got a lot of apps, it's going to be checking in with those apps all the time, too. I mean, I want to tell you, there was a big study just reported out of France from the French National Frequency Agency, AFNR, and they analyzed the effect of radiation from antennas, but they made a call about personal devices as well. And they wanted to find out what was the public exposure before and after the 5G rollout. And they looked at and measured very closely 370 5G sites in the C-band with traffic generated by artificially downloading a 1 gigabyte file. And the result was that there was an average increase of 16% in exposure, and that suggests an overall increase long-term in around 20% in areas where 5G with C-band is going to operate. And then they said you need to look at the use of the mobile phones, because that will add significantly to what the C-band frequencies are transmitting to the phones.
The other question that was raised is this subject of closed circuit and also proximity. So let's say that I'm in a restaurant and somebody in the restaurant is operating on a C-band 5G, and I'm at another table in the same building.
If you're in an enclosed space, a car, an elevator, a restaurant, your bedroom, the radiation is held in the room and is more intense. So if you're sensitive, I'm moderately sensitive, I wouldn't go to that restaurant where people they have phones on in their pockets. and so they're radiating whether they're using them or not.
Mm-hmm. Now, I remember when you were on the show last year, we had mentioned something about adobe houses, how they have that wire grid inside of houses that are made with the stucco, right?
But that's right. They have chicken wire, which is helps to block signal. But even more than that is the fine mesh screen that people have on their windows. That also somewhat prevents RF signals. I just purchased a new shade to put over my office window because of glare, but I got one that has a very small grain screen to block the signal for my next door neighbor because he just amped up his Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. So with the time that we have left, what can you, people that are listening, if this subject intrigues them, what are some sources or some tips that you can use where people might be thinking to themselves, hey, I'm stressed. Is this being caused by some sort of wave formation out there? What can people do to protect themselves if all of this wireless affects Tucson? And well, actually, C-band wireless is actually here in Tucson in some areas.
It's here.
Yeah,
literally, it's here in this office.
Oh my! And you're sitting right across from me. Okay, we might have to get separate studios now.
Yeah, I showed you before the show. I'm on C-band.
Okay, but what can people do?
Okay, well, first of all, for good public health advice that's always being renewed and given, the Environmental Health Trust, ehtrust.org, is a very good website. That's in the United States. For personal responsibility, take care of yourself by keeping your landline. Use it for long calls. Don't buy a 5G phone. Keep your 4G phone. Use a speaker setting. Make short calls when you're using that phone, and don't wear it on your body or hold it by your ear when you're talking. Distance is your friend. And by the way, at night, turn off the Wi-Fi. You don't need it, and you'll sleep a lot better. And I'd like to recommend that you support a proposed bill to the Arizona State Legislature, HB 2785, which is called 5G Choice. It gives communities in Arizona the right to say no to a proposed cell tower installation if they can prove that 80% of the people that live within a half mile of that site do not want to have it. This bill was introduced by Tucson's own State House Representative Pamela Powers-Hanley and her colleagues, but we need to get the bill read on the House floor by Monday, if possible, and so it can be referred to a committee for review and possible hearings. So call Rusty Bowers, chairman of the Arizona House of Representatives, and leave a message saying that you support this bill.
Okay. And some other, and as far as any of these devices, we had mentioned the mesh wiring. So does that mean that people should just go out and just get more mesh stuff? We have about 40 seconds.
Right. You can do that. If you need any consultation, Safe Living Technologies, SLT.org, is very good. They sell all these shielding materials, and they give you advice over the phone.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Depending on what the outreach after the show is, we may have you on in another couple of weeks. But we thank you for being on the show today. Before we wrap up, we just want to thank our sponsor again, Perfection Auto Works, for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location near Speedway and Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. If you missed any part of this episode, you can go to thecomputerdoctorshow.com, click on episodes, and then find episode 79. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. Rob was co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board, and Elizabeth Kelly, our special guest. Listen to the Computer Doctor Show every Saturday with new episodes every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to The Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.